Hey everybody, Knickerbuds here. Another day with the 300ZX. Well, today I thought I might look into fixing up them calipers there a little bit. As you can see, this one is gray. And I figured it'd be a simple and fun little project to video. Something fairly quick and easy to do. I've actually done these front ones here before. And just something quick and easy. Makes it look kind of cool. Also thinking about fixing up these rims here. And I thought it'd be fun to see if I get any comments on what kind of colors you guys think would be on there. Maybe a white. I do like the silver with the chrome, but it's got a little curb rash there that can be fixed. Rims are actually pretty easy to fix and paint, and they definitely make a nice make the car look sharp, that's for sure. So yeah, take a look at this here and see if we can't get it looking a little cool. Alright. Okay, yeah. Well, we get the wheels off here. And taking a look at this caliper, we're going to have to clean this up a bit. It's been painted before and it's, you know, got a little rough spots on it. I was able to jack the car up on that rear differential there. Just put the jack right in the middle and up she goes. Always want to make sure to have your jack stands on the car so it don't fall on you or fall and hurt the car, anything like that. And this looks like it needs to be fixed. So we'll see if we can't do something with that too. Looks like it's missing a piece, but maybe we should fabricate something up. See what we can do. Alright. And also, basically just step up your sandpapers. If you're starting out with a 180 grit, your next should be like a 280. 380, 480, stuff like that. I'm not gonna get too fussy with this. I see some grooves here. Maybe I will sand this down a little bit better just to clean it up. So basically I just used this brass. Wasn't too aggressive on it, actually wasn't hurting it at all. Then I stepped it up to this wire wheel, which is highly aggressive, and always wear your face protection when using this. I've gotten stabbed by these before in the face, and it's not all that fun. It doesn't feel all that good. And then you just want to step it up your sandpapers here. I'm actually going to clean these up a little bit more. I can see some kind of sand scratches there, just to whatever. Alright. Alright, so just about ready to move on to the next step here. Basically, just wanted to clean up as much of that old paint as much as possible. And yeah, pretty good. As always, the better prep work you do, the better paint job you hopefully have. It's hard to see, but Basically, if you have old paint like that, the transition from the metal to this paint here is going to leave little edges. And obviously there's some down here in the crevices. I'm not going to be too fussy. 5-foot rule. I mean, obviously you can go further and completely strip it, but whatever. 5-foot rule for this. And yeah. So we're gonna get this masked up and go from there. Well, my can of brake clean doesn't seem to want to cooperate, so I just happen to have some of this acetone kicking around here, and we're just gonna clean this up a bit. And basically that's gonna hopefully give you a nice surface to spray on. Like I said, the better prep job you do, hopefully the better paint job you will have. So that's actually looking pretty good. And we're ready to start masking this up. Okay, everybody, we're here. Just about to move on to the next step here. I did happen to have some plastic sheeting around, which is good. Basically, I always like to have some bleed-through paper, if possible, and then my plastic sheeting. Some people just cut out the plastic sheeting and tape that up, and that works too. I find, well, this is all that I had around. And I find sometimes if you just have the plastic sheeting and you're spraying anything with like if you have an actual spray gun, you're going to get some air pressure, and this is going to be shuddering like that when you're spraying. So I like to have some paper, bleed-through paper, if you were doing any type of panel repair. Say if I was trying to mask this off, I would like to have a nice clean area that's not going to be fluttering around when I'm painting it. So basically I just outlined what I wanted and then put my whatever I could find there to keep the overspray away. And I always like to give it a final wipe with some type of fast drying cleaner. Lots of paint companies have products that dry extremely fast. This is just some acetone, and it'll work. And that's pretty good, just in case you are taping it up and you know, you touch the area and then you have some oils on your hands or something from sanding, anything like that. Even the oils on your hands can cause fish eyes, things like that, imperfections in your paint. I did happen to have some, this is just some high build primer, and that will help to remove any imperfections. Basically, if I paint anything, I like to have it finished at least 800 grit. I sand my primer with 800. Depending on what type of paint you use, you could paint over 400 to 600 grit, and you'd probably be okay. The problem with that is, like, a few months later, the stuff once it settles, it's going to sink in, right, and then you're going to see those sand scratches. So I always like to really have a fine sandpaper grit finish. Like I said before, this is just a caliper. I'm not all that worried. This is just a thing. So I did have some high build here, and I figured what it's a direct to metal primer. One thing I always do before I paint anything is check spray. like to always check spray. Basically what you want to do is you're going to get buildup in these areas here, these grooves in between these Nissan symbols. So you like to have nice distance. And your first coat, if you're spraying over paint like this, what can happen is the solvents in these products can eat into this paint, and it'll fry it up, it'll bubble it, and it can give you all kinds of nightmares, trust me. So we'll just give it a nice dust in here just to see how this looks. And also this primer will get rid of any contrasting. You see how this is darker where I didn't get all the paint off, and this is lighter, so it'll help get rid of that contrast when you go to actually put the color paint on that you want. You want nice even coverage all the way around. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I just got a little heat gun here, and we'll give a little heat to this. I like to keep the heat gun moving, and I do not want to spray continuously on one spot. That can damage your product you're putting on there. If it's too hot, you get this blazing hot, and you try to, it can fry up your new paint. Looks pretty good for a caliper. And basically all these techniques are good for, as long as you remember this process for all of your painting, then it'll be the same. Like the prep work for this would be the same as the prep work for this panel, and so on. So, like I was saying before, it's hard to see here. I didn't get all in these grooves, and it's kind of, I don't know if you can see that. You can see this edge. Anyway, whatever. 5-foot roller mower. That's looking pretty fancy. We'll stop here and let this paint or the primer dry, and then we'll move on to the paint coat, color coat. Alright, so we got that set up. Primer's nice and dry. Nice and dry there. So as always, check spray. It's looking pretty good. Same as before, nice and even coats. Keep your distance, keep your speed. Areas like trying to get in there are pretty difficult. So just nice, easy sprays. Don't want to get full coverage on your first coat. I like to do multiple coats. Good. good to get a little bit more in here. It's always hard to get in here and check your angles. Painting anything is always good to look at it from every direction you can, because you don't want to have primer and stuff showing after you get it cleared and outside. There you go. And we'll come back to it and spray another coat on. Okay, here we are. Moving right along on our project. Good thing for anybody just starting out painting out there. If you're ever wondering if your paint's dry or anything like that, you can like touch in these areas, you know? Touch these areas. Don't touch your painted part, because then if it's not dry, you're going to smudge it all up and it's just not going to look proper, right? So, you know, you can always just check your paper. Check to make sure everything's nice and dry there and you're not going to smudge it up. So basically what I did is I put 2 medium wet coats of the gold on. I let that flash off, dry up, tack off, whatever you want to call it. Let that set up good, and then I did like a drop coat or an orientation coat on this, and that's just to help set your metallics and give it a nice even coat. It definitely helps if you're on your silvers and your metallics. The nozzle on this spray can is pretty decent. Mind you, I picked these up pretty cheap at Canadian Tire. So this is a quick, easy way to spruce up your car. Anything really. Basically what I'm doing now is just adding a little extra touch, brushing in these letters. And basically what I like to do is hold my brush like this, and then I can rest my fingers out here to steady my hand, because I don't have the steadiest of hands. And then I can just slightly touch this on here. And it'll look pretty good, actually. I mean, nobody's going to be getting down eyeballing your calipers too hard. Well, they shouldn't be. They should be find something else to do than make fun of your calipers. But you know, this just kind of adds a nice little effect. These are embossed, so it's a little easier. I wouldn't bother if they weren't there, but they're here. So might as well make the most of it. Add some Flavor Flav to our car. Should look really cool going down the street. Alright, so I'm just going to finish up doing that. And then let that dry. And we'll put some clear coat on. Alright, right back. Alright, so we're back with our budget spray can job here. Like I said, these weren't very much a Canadian Tire. You pick these up, and for the black lettering for the Nissan, all I did was spray it in the top of one of these containers, and used a little cheap brush just to paint these Nissan. So that's looking pretty good, and made sure everything was nice and dry. Now we have some clear coat. This is only a spray can. Mind you, if you're using automotive paint, you get like a high solids clear contains isocyanates. Make sure to wear your like a proper charcoal or fresh air breathing supply. I can tell you it's important for your lungs. I'm just doing one of these, so I'm just spraying this one today. So I've got the door open, lots of fresh air coming in. Spraying the clear has always been one of my favorite things to do. It really gives the job a nice finish to it and will help protect your paint you've just spent all this time on. So, like always, check spray. I like to check spray any type of thing that I'm using. That way, if you have any clogs or if it drips, anything like that, it's gonna drip on this stuff and not on your paint, or not on your product that you're trying to paint here. Clear is a funny thing to use. It can go very sour on you very quick, and then you have to restart the whole thing pretty much. So we'll just, this looks like it has a pretty good fan on it, so let's see if I can do this here. We're just gonna give it nice medium wet across the top. Check all your angles. Let that sit for a minute. Anything like this and it'll channel and run on you. You want to make sure you put a nice even coat across the whole thing. It's already setting up. See, and then you can just, touch these areas. Don't touch that. Touch these areas. That's tacky. It's all ready for another coat already. I can go a little heavier this time. There you go. It's actually not too bad for a little spray can. Paint job. You be fly. Cruising down the street. Alright everybody. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more 300ZX videos. Peace! Woo!